Hey there, I'm King 5 meteorologist Ashley Ruiz in Seattle, Washington, and it's going to be so beautiful this weekend, but it is going to be hotter than what we've been dealing with. We had the rain the last couple of days. That's a thing of the past at this point. Our temperatures are going to climb over the weekend, peaking early next week, which I'll have more details on how the forecast could change between now and then. That's coming up in just a few minutes, but let's talk about the weekend, because today we are going to have mostly sunny skies. Temperatures will be near normal, if not a couple of degrees below normal. This time of year we should be right around 79 here in Seattle, so tomorrow a better chance for that. But then Sunday, Monday, and potentially into Tuesday, we're dealing with well above normal temperatures, and these are for Seattle. So some of our hot spots, think Tacoma and portions of southern Puget Sound, and then the Cascade foothills and valleys could even warm into the low and mid 90s, which we don't see that all too often, but it is the middle of summer. But then next week, our temperatures will start to go down once again. Here's a look around western Washington and portions of eastern Washington. Lake Chelan, no one is in the water just yet, it looks like, but the day is young. We still have plenty of sun to enjoy. And then we have blue sky, we have some mid-level and high clouds, and we have a good bit of marine fog right now moving over the Strait of Juan de Fuca. But here in Seattle, we have blue sky. I wanted to show you, you see the mountain, Mount Rainier is out. We see Elliott Bay, the Space Needle perfectly, but I wanted to zoom in. This is our Columbia Center tower cam in Seattle, looking toward beautiful Mount Rainier, and you see a little bit of fog off in the distance, but the mountain is out. And if you've been to Seattle, you know when you hear the mountain is out, it's going to be a beautiful day. For our areas up north, the north interior, the closer you are to the Cascade foothills, going to be in the mid and upper 70s. Our beautiful islands in the 60s and 70s if you're taking a ferry there, just some morning fog. And then into the afternoon for portions of Puget Sound and our islands, 60s and 70s. Then we get into Central Sound. Temperatures start to climb a little bit. Renton about 78 degrees. And if you're headed to the passes and hiking this afternoon, temperatures are going to be nice and comfortable in the 60s. Then we get to South Puget Sound and the foothills. You see upper 70s, lower 80s, closer to the beaches in southern Washington in the 60s, and then closer to Oregon in the 80s. As we get closer to the Olympic Peninsula, Port Angeles 67, Shelton right around 80 degrees. Our air quality should be in that good to maybe moderate range for today, but on Saturday could drop a little bit. But tomorrow morning we're waking up to the 50s, so actually near normal for this time of year, and then warming right back up. But tomorrow it's going to be hotter, not just here in Seattle and Puget Sound, but closer to the coast as well. Eastern Washington heating things up. And once again, if you have plans to camp this weekend or hike, going to be quite nice. For now, the air quality forecast for Saturday calls for moderate. You see that there. That could change. Now let's talk about the weather pattern. We have this ridge of high pressure that's going to build over the Pacific. It's going to amplify late this weekend and early next week. And with that being said, temperatures are going to peak. Then we get into Tuesday. The models have been going back and forth showing for our high temperature forecasts. They've been going cooler, they've been going warmer for Tuesday. So we'll have to see if this ridge begins to weaken and flatten out, because Tuesday's highs are simply dependent on if this happens or not, because we'll have this area of low pressure, a dip in the jet stream, troughing will likely begin to develop as that ridge begins to flatten. It opens the door for another system to move in, and that would bring us onshore winds again, and then we would have more unsettled weather. So for now, our Tuesday's temperature could be dependent on that system. Sunday, our highs are going to be in the 70s and 80s for the Seattle metro, in the mid and upper 80s, and potentially a couple of hot spots in the lower 90s. Monday is going to be similar. The coast going to be hot, 86 here in Seattle. And then Tuesday, our coast is going to be cooler because of the return of onshore winds, our natural AC coming off of the Pacific. And dependent on what happens with that system, the arrival of onshore winds, we'll have to see just how hot we get into our Tuesday. But for now, looks to be a hot one. But then Wednesday and Thursday, that's when things change and we get some cooler temperatures. We'll get some more clouds and potentially a sprinkle or two by later next week.